There is so much talk about salt lately and how much sodium we are consuming in our diets. And it's true, we are eating way too much salt. And the problem is, not only is it making us puffy, and sometimes you wake up and you swear you gained 5 pounds overnight, which is pretty much impossible. Really what you're doing is you're maintaining water, and the reason is because salt is holding on to water, making you appear swollen, puffy, and overweight. Beyond the looks that salt is doing to you, it's also creating high blood pressure. So it's a real issue. It's time to cut this salt, but not cut it out entirely, because when used correctly, salt helps to enhance the flavor of your food. And if you are satisfied with your food, you are probably going to eat less food, because you're not going to be eating and eating and eating, trying to get that satisfaction, because the flavor will be there. So don't toss the salt shaker. I like to use sea salt. It has a nice little crunch to it. I like the flavor of the sea salt better. There are lots of different kinds that you can get from different places. You can get pink and gray and black and white, so I like to add a little bit of sea salt to my dishes. I'm not going to completely ban salt from my life. I'm just going to do it in a controlled way. But the fact is that most of our salt is actually coming from processed foods and also from restaurants. So look at your nutrition labels. Don't just look at them to see what the fat content is and the calorie content is. Look at the salt. You should be eating no more than 2,300 milligrams of sodium a day. So keep that in mind. So now let's look at a couple of things, all right? So when it comes to frozen entrees, these are low-fat frozen entrees that I have in my freezer. I just pulled them out right now. And this one has 720 milligrams of sodium, okay? This one has 500 milligrams of sodium. Now, if this is your lunch, then that's okay. That's only a small portion of the 2,300 you should be eating during the day. This one, 540 milligrams. Not bad. Now, keep in mind that these are all, lower fat, healthier foods. That's the point of them. There are other frozen entrees that are insane in terms of salt. So make sure you take a look. Then, when it comes to lunch meats, you cannot believe the amount of sodium lurking in lunch meat. So I bought this container of lunch meats. It has 360 milligrams of salt for 2 slices of lunch meat. Some of them, now this happens to be an organic company, I'm not going to say which one, but some other companies that are non-organic can have as many as 400 milligrams of salt per slice of lunch meat. Okay, that's a lot. Then I decided, just as a comparison, to get the no salt added turkey breast from the deli counter. I spent the same amount of money. I got more lunch meat. It's nice and beautifully sliced and ready to eat for less. I don't know exactly how much sodium, but not much, because you can taste the difference. It's the no or low salt. You can see that at the deli counter. They'll slice it for you. You end up spending less money. You get more food, and you don't get all of that sodium. And it might not last as long. I mean, you'll see on some lunch meats it lasts for like 2 months. That's because of all the sodium and the nitrates that it's pumped with. So this, better deal, less sodium, and it honestly tastes better. So definitely something that you should do. Now, let's look at other things. Soup. There's so much salt lurking in soup. What you can do to minimize the salt is get the soups that say light in sodium. This one doesn't. So these are 2 different soups, but the light in sodium has 340 milligrams of sodium per serving. 2 servings in here, okay? So that's 680 milligrams of sodium in the whole thing, and I tend to eat the whole thing. Then this one, which is not light in sodium, 680 milligrams of sodium, 2 servings per container. So that's 1,360 milligrams of sodium. That's a lot. It's like 1,360. Yes, 1,360. It's a lot of sodium, okay? So you want to always try and make sure you do the light sodium. Then if you look at your condiments, that's another area that you can cut the sodium dramatically. I only use the low sodium soy sauce. This one has, but still low sodium, 575 milligrams of sodium in 1 tablespoon. I eat a lot more than 1 tablespoon when I have sushi, and it's 575 milligrams. No wonder I wake up looking like I'm swollen. I remember on my 30th birthday several years ago, I had sushi. Woke up in the morning and having turned 30, and I swear I gained 5 pounds. I was swollen. I thought, oh, well, all right, well, now I'm aging, so that's obvious. No, it was the soy sauce, and it was not the low sodium soy sauce. Then, this is one of my favorites, this Frank's Red Hot. I love it because it's incredibly flavorful. It is spicy, and spice is a great natural fat burner, so I put it on my chicken breast. I make poached chicken, and I put this on. It's an easy meal. It's like hot wings, but without the fat. However, 400 milligrams of salt per tablespoon, and I put a lot more than 1 tablespoon when I make those buffalo chicken breasts. They're very tasty, but you need to make sure that you keep that in mind. Olives. 2 of these pitted sun-dried black olives, 2 olives, have 230 milligrams of sodium. That's a lot, especially if you're going to have an entire handful. Then this Worcester sauce, only 65 milligrams of sodium. Getting better. And you would think that this has a lot of sodium, but it doesn't. And then the place that I was shocked had sodium, my Greek yogurt, 105 milligrams of sodium. There are 6 servings per container. It's 4-ounce serving. So although 105 isn't very much sodium, I just was surprised to find it in the Greek yogurt. Cottage cheese, even more. A lot of sodium in cottage cheese. I didn't have any in my fridge right now, so I couldn't check to see what the count was. So what can you do to cut it? Well, so the canned soup, the processed foods, the sauces and different flavorings, and you can start to use fresh herbs instead. I always keep these. This is half cilantro and half flat leaf parsley. I keep it in my kitchen instead of flowers because it's pretty, it smells good, and it's useful. And it helps to cut the fat and cut the sodium. So those are your tips on how you can stop being so puffy and minimize the sodium in your diet. And that's your Quickie in the Kitchen today.